morning, friends. Happy Thursday. I almost said Friday, whatever. Anyways, I made a post about my latest transformation with 9 Week Control Freak, and I'm encouraging you to go read it. I also just did a live over in BOD groups where I did a live energy practice. If you need to do that with me, go peep it. But a couple things, okay? Number one, you are winning every single day you choose to show up. If it's 5 minutes, if it's an hour, it's still a win, okay? It's still a win, and I still want you to collect it and remind yourself that you are getting momentum and that you are capable of this whole journey, because sometimes we sell ourselves this little lie that it needs to look a certain way, that you need to have XYZ results in order to be winning, but that's not what this is about. If you were here for a quick fix, you're in the wrong space, okay? This is all about transforming your life from the inside out, changing your heart space, changing your mindset, getting the momentum as you show up every single day. So I just finished 9 Week Control Freak. I feel like I gotta sit down. I just finished 9 Week Control Freak, and I took my measurements. I know, we're too close right now. Please hold. What's happening? Oh, geez Louise. Anyways, I took my photos and my measurements and I weighed. The scale has gone up. My measurements are all within like half an inch of each other. And my photos look almost exactly the same. But this is why data matters, but data also doesn't matter, okay? But I feel so much stronger. When I compare my week 1 tracking with week 9 tracking, I lifted so much more. I was able to not modify as much. I still listen to my body, right? But those wins, they're not always super obvious in your face. It's more about, how do you feel? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel more committed? Do you feel more excited? Do you feel more proud? Do you feel more capable? Do you feel harder to kill? Like, all those things freaking matter. And I think that sometimes we get so caught up in the numbers and the size and the before and after photos that we feel like if it's not big enough, it's not enough of a win. But the fact that you chose to show up, the fact that you're still here working on your journey, even when it hasn't been perfect and maybe a little herky-jerky, and maybe you have sabotaged yourself a little, all those things, like, it all is part of your story. It's all part of your journey. It's all worth celebrating and showing up for. So I want you to choose to be proud today, wherever you're at. Even if you haven't officially started, if you were in this space, it's because you committed to being a work in progress and to leveling up to that next level version of yourself, and not necessarily looking like a freaking Barbie doll, okay? I was talking with the gals on Zoom this morning, and I was like, when I started 9 Week Control Freak like 10 freaking weeks ago, I was still doing Gut Protocol Nutrition, which I think is an amazing program. I think it is so powerful. I learned a ton about my body. I had a very, very clear view of what foods work for me. And I'm not just talking about size, number, and scale. I'm talking about inflammation. I'm talking about PMS. I'm talking about all those things that sometimes we don't really pay attention to. Foods that in the past I've been eating, like, and foods that I haven't been eating. Like, it reaffirmed so many things for me. It taught me a ton of lessons, but it was very extreme. It's very extreme. It really is. It's lots of restriction. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm not saying that that's a lifestyle that I think any of us really want to commit to. It's kind of like bodybuilding. Like, I am not willing to sacrifice the fun things. I want to live my life. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. I want to show up and feel strong and brave and proud and get momentum along the journey. And I don't want to have to sacrifice all the things. So my weight did go up, partially because I gained more muscle, but my body still looks pretty similar. My stomach is not as flat, but I'm also coming to a place where I'm not phoning it in, and I'm not just throwing it all away, because I know I have lots of ab work to do. I know that is definitely an area. I've had diastasis recti. I have all these things that I know I can work on. I can improve. But I'm not going to say there was no win because it doesn't look like XYZ. I started the program, right? Like I started the program doing 4-week gut protocol, super restrictive. Last night I had a tortilla and I had a brownie. And I don't think I had a ton of vegetables yesterday. I hydrated, but I didn't have a ton of vegetables. And so this is just living my life, and I'm okay with that. I also have a uterus, okay? I have a uterus. I'm a 40-something-year-old woman, and I have a uterus. I've gained and lost 60 pounds, and I'm okay with where I am. So I want you to stop comparing where you think you should be
based on other people's social media or the news or magazines, like just freaking throw it away, okay? You are you. You are the only you that will ever be. Your body is perfectly and amazingly designed, and we all have different body styles and types. And it's okay. It's okay if you don't look a certain way. It is okay if you're committed to the journey and maybe you don't think that the mirror is catching up with what all the work you're doing. The fact that you're doing the work will eventually pay off. Okay? So lots of interesting ahas and wins. And it's not settling. It's not coming to terms with. It's none of that. It's just you can be A and B. You can consume this and you can also be okay with it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I needed to share it today, especially when I took my measurements and I took my photos and I was like, I feel good, but the data that I tell you guys to take all the time doesn't necessarily reflect any of that. There can be other data. Okay? So find your freaking wins. Be proud of the fact that you're choosing to show up. Be proud of the fact that you choose to begin again every single day. And if you are off track and you do need to do 4-week gut protocol or you do need to eliminate something, that doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you're even off track. It just means that you are a living, breathing work in progress. And that's what we're all here for, right? Right. Can I get an amen on a Thursday? Yes. So anyways, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to listen to something that inspires me because the mindset piece is something I still work on every single day. And a lot of you message me and this is what's missing. It's the mindset piece. It's the self-talk piece. We have 1,000 million freaking thoughts every day. And a lot of them are not constructive. A lot of them are not positive. A lot of them are intended to keep us safe, but that doesn't necessarily serve our next level version of ourselves. This is why I do personal development 5-10 minutes every single freaking day as a non-negotiable, which when I first started, it felt hard and kind of uncomfortable and wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do. But the more I did it, the more I saw the wins and the more I started to hope and believe and change my thinking. I had to rewire my thinking. I'm still rewiring my thinking around all sorts of things. And that's really cool because if you're not growing and evolving, you're dying. So what do you want to do? Do you want to be a growth-minded person who's a work in progress and okay with that? Or do you want to be this, like, it has to be a certain way, there's no room for anything? No, don't be that person, okay? Okay, so I'm off my soapbox. I'm going to go do the things. I already shared my results. You can go check my stories if you're curious about it. I am starting Lift More on Monday. You are invited to join me if you want to do that program. You can do any program, okay? This is a find your own path. Do your own thing. You need to focus on nutrition, then you focus on nutrition, boo-boo. You need to do some yoga, then you do some yoga. You want to do Ultimate Reset with Katie? Go do Ultimate Reset with Katie. This is never a one-size-fits-all, pass or fail group. This is a work in progress, being okay with the journey, even when it's not linear and even when it is uncomfortable, because that, my friend, the uncomfortableness, the messiness, the imperfection, that's where the growth is. That's where the growth is. And that's where you find your wins. That's where you find who you really freaking are and who you were meant and created, intended to be. That is where all that lives. So welcome the discomfort, welcome the uncomfortableness, welcome the I'm not exactly sure, but I'm just going to trust the process and do the next right thing. And if you don't know what that is, you're going to raise your hand and you're going to message me and I'm going to catch up on my messages today. I promise.